Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you enjoyed your lunch. Unfortunately, the show must go on, so let's start it. My name is Ruslan Kovac. I work in the Department of Orthopedics at St. Louis University, and my supervisors are György Kocsis, Szilárd Bánta, and the clinician is Gergely Gabocs. So my vision is to make test. We want to make custom-made implants and designs by athletic understanding as part of an orthopedics team, and we are providing it by cutting-edge service. I have two ongoing projects. The first one is dealing with the first one is the investigation of the young modulus of bone, and the second investigation is about the surgical approach in chronic acromioclavicular instabilities. My first project is meta-analysis and systematic review, and it's called the young modulus. The young modulus is the elasticity of bone, and here I would just say E value for the young modulus. And in order to achieve better implant fitting in bone, finite element analysis requires precise young modulus results. The finite element analysis is a tool we can virtually model the materials such as the bone itself. There are several ways experimentally to measure this value. You can compress it, you can temperature cool it, you can make an indentation test or ultrasonic test. However, in the literature, the results are controversial. Even if you look at the slide, you can see sometimes two order of magnitude differences, and it's not enough for us because we want more accurate results if we want to make precise modulus results. So our plan is to find out what's behind these incongruencies. So this is the hypothesis that there is systematic error behind these incongruencies, and therefore investigate the influencing variables such as size, gender, lesion. According to our people, we collected articles which contain information of bone samples, E values, and modulus values. These bones must be healthy, they must not have any bone disease, and they must be evaluated by experiments, not by in situ models. According to the PICO, we have selected with this search from these databases on this data. We conducted a search and found more than 10,000 of records, and from this we decreased the number to more than 100 of records for the data extraction. From these more than 100 articles, I'm showing the results of 48 articles. It contained 11 bones. The three most common is sciatica, and also the range of the E values can be seen, and with sometimes 4 order of magnitude differences. Also, you can see the cortical and cancerous bone mean values as well. On the first histogram, you can see the distinction between the cortical bone, higher young modulus values, and the cancerous bone values. On the next histogram, you can see the result of the regression analysis of the overall data pool. On the epsilon axis, you can see the relative scale. This is a statistical measure that shows us the influence power of each variables on the young modulus. The three strongest influencing factors are the macrostructure, so cortical cancerous bone, the methods, the measuring methods, the region of the bone, and the bone itself. Also, there were other variables, but we must know that above the line, above the significance level, they are. It means that even the gender or sex must be taken into account. On the next slide, you can see the results from the thermodynamic physics in cortical bone. Here we check the age, sex, function, and size, and all comparisons were showing a significant difference. For example, in the age, the older age were stiffer, and in the male, dry, and smaller than 1 millimeter samples were showing higher E values. On the next diagram, you can see the box plot of the testing methods on the thermodynamics, and on it you can see that the non-indentational tests were always showing higher E values compared to the others, and we must not forget that all of the 4 methods were significantly different from each other. Do you remember what's the anisotropy? The anisotropy is a feature of the bone, and it means that its E value is always depending on the axis of loading. So we will have different E values for the same bone in case of anteroposteriorly or mediolaterally or axially loaded samples. In the first, you can see the cortical bones and the cancellous bone histograms. And what you need to see that because we compare each direction for bones, and we found that the axial direction were showing a significant difference between the 2 other loading axes. It's a Blondal complot, and on the epsilon axis you can see the difference of the mean E values. And yes, the x-axis, and on x-axis you can see the 2 groups of the axial and the AB mean values, and what you need to see that the element number is 26. It means that the AB and the axial values were measured on the same 26 samples, and even here we can show this significant difference between the axial and the AB values. On the next slide, you can see that even inside the bone, so here we are checking on the left side the cancellous bone or the femur at epiphysis and metaphysis regions. You can see there is a 2 times higher E value in the metaphytic region than the epiphytic one, and in the near bones, so in the adjacent bones, there is almost 3 times higher E value in the epiphysis of the tibial bone compared to the femoral one. The strength of this project is the weighted impact of the influencing factors, invaluable information with extensively and precise detailed data collection. However, there are limitations due to heterogeneous data structure because there are no standardization in the articles, the low number of entries in the subgroups, the difference in the sample preparation, and the one that we did not distinguish the compression technique to plate or end-to-cap techniques. The conclusion that we demonstrated the influencing variables impact weight in ambulus, and we have significant differences in macrostructure and anisotropy, and also we show difference of E values between the adjacent bones and between the same bone regions. The implication for practice is in the more accurate finite element models, the innovation in custom-made implants, new implant designs, and for the research, there's further investigation of elastic models and new perspectives for the finite element analysis. My manuscript is just sent for the internal review, and we plan to send this study to the Octavia material. The next project is investigating the lockdown surgical technique in chronic acromial instabilities. This is the most common injury of the shoulder bone that occurs with high energy force. There are more than 100 surgical techniques, and our hypothesis is that the lockdown technique is superior to the other approaches. So therefore, according to PICO, we concluded articles with raw fruit 3 or higher AIDS instability operated patients, and we compared local technique with the other surgical therapies, and its implication really improved treatment in AC instability. We've conducted already the systematic research, and we are just about to start data extraction from the 15 articles. And next week we plan to start a retrospective core study that will be a multi-center one from 3 centers. That's my 2 projects, and I hope we can finish them by this year. Thank you very much for your attention. I think we've already started to move the mountain. If I'm going to conclude, but I think the journey end is still waiting for us. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christian, for your presentation.
When you first presented this, the first progress report, to me that seemed to be very simple. And now I see that this is more and more difficult, actually. And also, I mean, this has a very, very important message. Because in most people's mind, I mean, young modulus is a number, period. And then you show actually that this is, I mean, so actually different studies are very hard to compare. So all people who deal with this in the technical part and in the biomaterials and then also with heart issues, I mean, should actually see this. So I wish you good luck with the publications, which is also going to be very difficult because everybody has an opinion on this.
Yes, we've seen it already from the several articles that even the conclusions sometimes controversial, but I think in this topic, the further we go, the deeper we get. Thank you very much.